Hello, dear Mira. Hello, Fernando, Vossa. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here for me specifically, because you're one of my big mentors and you always expand me beyond anything I can imagine. So I'm expecting the same today in a loving, fun way. And I know you have a lot to share with us. So please just say a few words about yourself or what you're going to introduce, and we'll let you have the stage.
Thank you so much, Mira and Sharon, to open up another dimension together to share a larger message of expanding awareness. Because when we default to saying there's a lot going on in the world, there's this problem and this emergency and that situation, we're giving too much weight to that. When all of that is irrelevant to what you're doing here on Earth. So this is first opening I'm going to share. And as my background, we all know as we evolve in our lives and we keep having these lifetimes of experiences, and roughly every decade, we get to be a new person with a completely different focus. I've traversed the entire scale of human creativity from being an artist to an architect, to a scientist, to an engineer, to a visionary presenter of technology for the future. And each of those phases in my life has including asking one question: how are we doing this? How are we creating this built environment and this reality? Right? So as my background, I share the core question in everything I do. So that kind of approach is open-ended to exploring different instruments and different methodologies and curriculums to saying, how is this body materializing this reality? How are our thoughts being converted to matter? How is our presence, our voice, our life experiences, everything that so-called is happening around us, inverting that and saying, I am what is happening. I am the news. I am the drama. I am the spectacle in my presence here. And it's a completely different way to answer my own question. That's my background. All right. Today, we're going to expand awareness to open up a brand new vocabulary. And I'm dedicating this talk to men specifically, men my age. I'm 59. I'm going to be 60 this year. And in many wisdom traditions, when you become 60, you are a wisdom keeper. You are an elder. You are the mentor, the old guy that walks in the room. And when I say dedicated to men, let's just expand that to the masculine energy of creatorship, because we all have that inside of us, including the feminine creative abilities, both. And when we were born on this earth, when we arrived, there was a whoosh of energy, an entrance statement like a portal opening coming into the womb. And that phenomena had in it the wake, like a ship, like a puncturing through time and space from where you were before. There is no before or after, but what is that signature for people watching right here? Somewhere in that is the dream, the original vision, the intact, uncontaminated intention, the inner tension, the inner vortexing, tensoring of everything that is happening in your life right now, in our lives, right? That's what I'm connecting to today. And for the masculine energy, it gets expressed in I want to build something, I want to construct something, I wish to invoke something. And that energy can be expressed as a discipline. I want to get into construction, or I want to get into sports. I want to build a home with a family. I want to be a provider, all those things. But see, that's a distortion from the original. What the hell are you here to do? What do you want to create? Right, Sharon? We're always asking that question.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's alchemize that into what do you want to create here? And there are many masculine, specifically men, sitting right now at this age range in the 50s and 60s, already having a lifetime, having children, family, going through careers, moving with this body. Most of us started working when we were 12, 13, 14. We come from that generation. And I'm honoring that because many men specifically feel very disoriented. I am not living the truth that I came to this planet to live. It's not that truth, that dream, that vision is not in my partner. It's not in my wife. It's not in my children. It's not putting food on the table. I'm just demystifying these things. When a man says, I'm putting food on the table, we seem to lean up against that, and that is the highest thing we can do. And we're selling ourselves out when we say that. I'm doing what my partner wants to do. I'm honoring my partner, my wife, and my ball and chain, and it gets distorted too. Your dreams are not in your wife or your partner or your spouse. You are a complete being. So let's get back to this theme today. Design a home as a time machine. When I say that, what happens in your body? What happens in your mind? What do you see in that opening? If I am an artist with a paintbrush and I'm approaching an empty canvas, and there's an audience of me, the childhood me watching me. You know how they have those artists that get up on the stage and they do this really quick painting? That's
Yeah.
what I'm going to talk about today. But the audience is me as a little boy, that little Fernando in elementary school, that little Fernando that was birthed through my mom in Mexico, that version of me that was in junior high fighting with my teachers and going through the greatest drama, and then that guy that was falling in love, and that guy that was figuring out what he was. All those thousands of Fernandos are watching this one with this paintbrush. And I'm going to show to that audience what happens when I integrate everything that I've learned. What do you think happens to a human that has gone through decades of corporate world? This body has had Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, dance, salsa, athletics. I've been a volleyball player at the competitive level. I have been a surfer. I've been a runner. I've been a partner, a lover. What do you think is the memory in this body? What can I do? What do you think has gone through this mind that has gone through 12 years of universal academics, that has gone through an awakening? All of the disclosure and conspiracy stuff. What do you think? Talking to me again, my audience, with I haven't painted anything. I'm just approaching the canvas. What do you think I know about time travel and teleportation and remote viewing and telepresence and meditation and 10 years of psychedelics? What do you think I learned? What's inside these genetics? I've been through ayahuasca, psilocybin, San Pedro, mushrooms, cannabis, and now I'm on none of those. I cleared myself. I'm 2 years and a half into clarity. No substances, no alcohol. 40 years of drinking alcohol. What do you think I'm doing right now after that? How did I do it? I created a time machine. Here we go. So I'm going to share screen. What do you think, guys? Does this sound exciting?
Very exciting.
Yes.
I recently typed a 20-page document I called my knowledge compendium. It is my true resume, my true accounting with full honesty of what I've gone through learning about this. If somebody picked up that knowledge compendium and read it, they would not believe one human has done this. What do you think I've learned about the secret space program? The med beds, the teleportation, the Mars jump room program, the different levels of UFO encounters, interterrestrial and interstellar race encounters. See, that's in there too. This, what we're going to talk about, has all of that in there. I have met time travelers from those programs. I have interacted with people who built laboratories to do inverse gravitics, flying craft that go through dimensions. All right. I share this to turn on the fire. Who are you? What do you know? And this is also an invitation to all the disclosure people, all of the whistleblowers who've been so brave to come out, all the people who've gone through other awakenings and studied shamanic arts, healing arts, white magic, consciousness, channeling. Keep adding the layers. Who've worked with indigo children and crystal children and rainbow children and platinum children. And we are all those right now. Okay. So we are going to start this sharing here. And so you should see a full screen now.
We do. Yes, thank you.
I'm going to reduce these windows down a little bit. What I'm going to share today is a course that I have authored. And you're going to get to see for the very first time the notes for this course. This is an honoring of what I know. This image is of me standing on a dome, by a dome, on top of the lava on the big island of Hawaii. And the question I'm asking right now is, could I build a monolithic structure on top of this brand new lava on the big island that would have access to quantum phenomena, time travel, teleportation, regeneration of my body, connecting to all of the natural elements that are available here? This is a quantum computer of organic intelligence. That journey I spoke about in our birth, from the source of creation, from the uncreated, where the soul embryo had a vision to spark an entire universe, to contain the star maps of all times and all places, all possibilities in our genetics, in this body right now. Could we access that? The answer is we're doing it all the time. Why Hawaii? Because I have always been called to the Lemurian heart of this civilization. I feel like one of my ancestries is of Lemurian, Pleiadian ancestry. I've always been called to Hawaii and the entire Ring of Fire. I've lived in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Alaska, California, Peru, Malaysia, Asia, including Philippines, Thailand and Vietnam, and traveled to the islands in the Pacific within all of that. This, to us, is this interface between the lava in the mantle, where the lifeblood of the planet flows like a heartbeat to the surface, creating new reality. If you want to see one place that this is happening, is the Big Island. And we have maps, like the one here on the left, that shows the gravity effects, because gravity is not the same anywhere on the earth. It's not a constant. It is a manifestation like a cymatic footprint of consciousness. The same energy that creates matter creates planets and continents and is able to pulse frequencies through the earth. This lava we're talking about contains a very complex combination of elements, and it varies throughout the world. Lava has thorium in it. This is one of the propulsion elements for interstellar travel. You can make fuel from lava. Lava has silica, like a computer, traces of gold, copper, and obviously iron, just like your blood. And it is in a very interesting state when it is molten, and then it becomes basalt. And you can go into lava tubes here on the Big Island, go inside these caves and feel this energy. Imagine if you could see the magnetic fields in these little cavities of lava. It's an infinite surface area. It's a fractal structure that contains little bubbles. And when we map out the magma chambers on the Big Island, and you start seeing that even the Schumann resonance varies. And if we had the kind of instruments that could measure time-space distortions, you would say this would be the kind of place you could build portals. And this is exactly what the ancestors did. And then on the surface, we have the beautiful elements of water, fire, air, earth, light, crystal, chromatics, all in a very symbiotic relationship. And when we look at larger scales of the flow of currents of water and the flow of magnetic fields around the islands, there are vortices that are continually evolving. If you were traveling through space in a light ship, you would look for these vortices, these wormholes of time and space. And there just happens to be a very unique one on the Big Island. As we talk about vortices in Sedona and Mount Shasta and other Shambhala locations. And we will have technologies that will be able to capture these resonance patterns like a sound wave and create three-dimensional structures from them. Like in this example, we're looking at a 3D printed field from a sound wave. And animals are already playing with these fields, like bees that make honey. And they're able to interact like an inverse gravity vehicle floating through water and leaving behind traces of frequencies. Akura and I have recently spent almost a year traveling through Southeast Asia. And here is a waterfall in Malaysia, in the rainforest. What is your body like when you're in this kind of place, in the interaction between the natural forces? If I was to zoom into my cells while I'm meditating at the bottom of this waterfall that's coming through Borneo jungle, the island of Borneo, a pure source of water going through volcanic mass, that some of it interacts with Indonesia, all the way down to Jakarta and Java and all those islands of volcanic action. And you can see that life just flows from these areas. What if we were to connect to the terrestrial godlike, goddess-like aspects of ourselves that are creating matter from thought and intersect that with the celestial version of our soul creation in one body? What would that intersection look like? This is one of the black sand beaches here on the island in Hawaii. And it's very exotic to see a black and white scene with a contrast of a blue sky. This black sand is like a natural spa of energy. All these little granules of organics intersecting with the slapping waves of the ocean. You have right here a vortex generator. Those who have meditated in these beaches know what I'm talking about. And this is one of the transformations I've gone through to create my body beyond any addictions. As I mentioned, clearing myself of substances, because that used to be my go-to. DMT, ayahuasca, psychedelics, going through all those journeys of mushrooms and so forth. That was my time machine in the past. But now I'm coming from a place of clarity, coherence, lucidity, creative freedom, conscious thought. Because I'm still asking my question, how am I doing this? And I'm bringing out from my cells all of the lessons from going to all these places around the world, in stone circles in South Africa, in measuring with instruments cactus in the desert to design my Vossa dome, and learning how to structure water in 1,000 different ways, and Dr. Emoto research in printing water. And what do you think has happened in my body from touching monoliths over 100 sacred sites around the world, feeling the resonance through my body, fine-tuning my body to be a way shower of energy, toning, singing, meditating, structuring water, paying attention. This is the expanded awareness we're talking about, having a different genetic relationship with the earth. So if I was to define a kind of audience for what I'm talking about right now, let's just call ourselves biovisionaries. To have the vision of the future of life at our fingertips. To take our love of off-grid, free energy, homesteading at the top of this triangle. And on the bottom left is our natural instinct to love ancient monoliths, pyramids, and to be cosmic archaeologists, and loving organic intelligence, and building sacred temples. And on the far right of this triangle is the version of us that are visionaries, lucid dreamers. We no longer will be insulted by saying, you're a dreamer. When somebody says that to me, I say, thank you. Thank you for seeing that. We are conscious, awakening beings going through a grand transformation that we can call ourselves civilizational designers. We design civilizations. And in between these three triangle vertices are the interaction between those 2 points. Because we're going to learn something new today. That off-grid solar and water and food and body work of healing our bodies is a spiritual consciousness advanced technology. That's our conscious wealth. That's our bank. That's where we're going to get gold and diamonds to source our reality, to thrive. So let's go into the raw notes of this course. It has 6 modules. The first module I call the Lucid Home Project. And we would begin by creating a kind of a ruler, a scale. And I have 3 rulers here, 3 scales that I'm going to talk about. So that whenever we observe any of these 3 areas, you'll be able to move the slider on your scale from one frequency, Like the very first one here, number one, it says sustainability, sustainable. When somebody says, well, I want to be sustainable, I'm saying, well, you're at 101 level. You're at a level that is so limited. The word sustainable has been corrupted, co-opted. It doesn't mean anything anymore to me. I'm going to slide that to regenerative, to regenerate cells, to regenerate tissue, to regenerate a mind, to regenerate a heart, to create something new. And let's keep sliding that to lucidity, a lucid space, a lucid solar panel, a lucid home water system that is awake and aware. How about a self-realizational home? A home that amplifies your self-realization. And let's move that even upwards to the ultraviolets, a creativist. How do I design a space for myself that amplifies my creative abilities to create matter from thought? How's that sound? So the second scale here we're talking about is going from detoxification, because a lot of people are just spending a lot of time detoxing and healing, but they never say, I'm healed, I'm done. I'm going to regenerate. And I'm going to create DNA activation. I'm going to move into sensorial design. I'm going to design my own body. And I'm going to start shaping my soul from this point of view. How's that scale sound? What kind of food would I eat here? What kind of water would I drink? What kind of materials would I make my house out of to do all these things? And how about if we take our awakening process, our self-realization, and create some fractal steps in that, so that I identify clearly I'm doing an awakening. I'm participating in an activation. I am amplifying an intention. I am harmonizing my intention with the intention of others. I am learning how to radiate, how to be a sun, a star. And I'm able to envision, to take the vision and to be inside of it so that I live it. All right, so just take a breath here. The lucid home. We're going to learn how to walk around your house, your existing home, and be very self-aware of the energetic field of the body. 12 strands of DNA, 144 strands, whatever you want to see there. To see your body as that home first, to see your cells as that home, to see your mind as a home, to see your senses, your eyes, your ears, your skin as a kind of destination. Yeah. This video is going to take a few watchings, a few viewings to capture this. You may have to listen to 10 minutes at a time here and just meditate on them. And I'm inviting that because this is high density knowledge.
Absolutely.
This is a drawing I call a body vortexing image. And in this course, we have a very specific assignment to learn how to do this. How to take chaotic energy and modulate it into coherence. How to draw it freehand so you can draw vortices. So you can play with attractors, gravitic attractors. This is just a little overview of how to create a vortex, a temple in each area of the home as a domain, where the kitchen becomes the earth connection. Your food is your root chakra, if you would like to, that vocabulary. Your interaction with food and earth. And your bathroom becomes your connection to yourself, if you would like to identify it as the sacral chakra, even though I'm not aligned with chakras as much. And that's the water element, your bathroom. And your living room is your connection to others. It is the space of air, your video conferencing, your sharing your business plans, Your gatherings of family and neighbors are in that living space, the living room. Get that frickin' flat screen out of you there and create something new. And your bedroom is the fire, the heart alchemy place of lucid dreaming, of love making, of connecting to alternate realities, the star furnace. And how about if certain sections of your house, like you create a skylight, the plasma energy, the fontanelle at the top of your skull, the Brahma Randha, where the soul enters the body. This is the vocabulary that architects and real estate people and home flippers that buy homes and flip them, why don't you convert them into lucid homes? That's the beginning of a home as a time machine, because these things bend time and space. These approaches reveal energy. Your kitchen counter should be designed as a place of alchemy. Your bathroom should be a place to go beyond a healing spa. Your bedroom should be designed to lucid dream and have quantum access while you're sleeping. That's going to invoke a different way you see these spaces. And Sharon has had firsthand experience of seeing our water plasma device.
Yes, I have. And I
Remember that?
yes. And I use it. I use it too.
Oh, nice. So in this course, we're gonna have some physical, real instruments we're gonna learn how to build. One of the modules has a homework assignments to do it yourself, your water plasma structuring vessel, as an opening to learn how to do these instruments. You should have hundreds of these in your house, different kinds of instruments that you design yourself with your own knowledge. But this is a way to learn how to do these things. So in our second module, we're going to open up the vocabulary of quantum access and time control. We're going to see the illusion of time. And we're going to create a template to learn how your physical body, as it is right now, is designed to what we call time travel and to teleport. It's in our cells. But how do we access that? How do we make that our everyday reality? How does that become more interesting than watching television, Netflix? We drop all that social media wasted time. Let's invoke it into this, because there's no Marvel comics that's as interesting as time travel in your own body. Right? Step by step to transform, create a template, create a schedule for this, put it up on your wall. And each day you're using different instruments, different technologies that are accessible to all of us. You know, one of the places that I did my time travel research was through the Anderson Institute, a time travel laboratory, Dr. David Lewis Anderson. And I've also interacted with several whistleblowers from Project Pegasus, including Andrew Basaggio. And see, within those are real technologies that you can learn how they work. Quantum tunneling, light speed travel, the Alcubierre drive. What happens to a ship when it starts approaching the speed of light? And what if we could meditate and learn how to achieve these states in our body? How to say, well, there's physics that acknowledges time warp fields. We already know that circulating light beams, you step into a field created by rotating light, affects time and space. Could we learn how to do that? How to establish micro wormholes, cosmic string connection. How does the triple cylinder effect work? The Casimir effect. See, we can't have these things belong to scientists anymore. We can't have these technologies just be in secret space programs or in dark black projects. This belongs to you. This is your birthright. It's built into your body. It's built into the earth. Access it now, so that your life in this next phase is about that kind of access. This is where homeschooling for children would go supernova. Those who've been part of the courses that Akuda and I have hosted, and many other visionaries around the world having this language, that should be where our money should go. Our resources, our investments should go to people who have spent a lifetime creating this content, these technologies for humanity in abundance and in compassion. Before you buy a Tesla and sink $100,000, take $20,000 of those like that and put it into solutions that we are making available. I'm not just saying me, but the millions of humans around the world who dedicated themselves to bringing this to you. Do you think that a PhD from Caltech or MIT has any more understanding of consciousness than you do? The answer is no. They have no clue. Do you think a mathematician who studied theoretical physics at Cambridge has any consciousness of your heart, of the portals running through your body? They have zero consciousness of it. Why? How do I blatantly say this? Because the scientists and engineers coming out of these programs are producing weapons of mass destruction. They're producing a synthetic science. The reason why I'm bringing this up is to take ownership of your own gravity waves of thought, to take authorship of what was available to you when you were born. This is what a true home in your mind as a time machine can do. To have this approach to reality. This year, 2024, could be the year that we learn and invoke our ability to create nebulas and supernovas in our life. This planet, Earth, was designed to cultivate, to foster and nurture humans who are universal creators. Read that in for a moment. Every mountain, every ocean, every rainforest, every lightning storm, everything that you eat, all the water that you drink is originally intended to be the source of your dreams, of your visions. What if we could design light ships from our living room and take this body and this mind and this heart across time and space? That would be our everyday life. What if we could see the fields of love around the earth? What if we could open our eyes right now to the reality beyond the distortion? Haha, Module 4. We've just gone through halfway of what the course is about. This is where we dive deep into holocymatic orchestration, the reality from thought methodology. And see, I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm saying this is what I've come up with. This is what I focused as a laser. Because sometimes we need to see how others did it so that we can create our own, so we have the permission for us to do it. And in this, we're going to learn the discernment between natural organic intelligence and artificial intelligence, to see it clearly for what it is. What is the difference between analog and digital? Could we discern that? Could we see it in our dreams? Could we see that functioning in ourselves? And how do we bring in the reality creation from thought to ourselves, our children, our family, our descendants, our friends? Wouldn't this be a fun conversation just to have? Well, what if you let your friends know, come over, instead of getting drunk and watching some kind of distraction on television, let's get into my time portal I'm designing. Let's do it together. What do you guys think? This is what you would say to your friends. I'm inviting a different opportunity here. And in this module, we're going to go into the creation codex. And I've talked about this many times. And the creator elements. What could we use to create with? This is a two-dimensional version of the creation codex. How does it work as a Stargate that you dial these rings and move them around and make combinations of healing modalities and creator elements and forces of nature? How do we dial in prescriptions of reality? Where would you start? How would you give yourself access to these things? You have to know that they exist. And you can create them at will, on tap. This is the homemade cymatoscope. Sharon got to play with this one too, right?
It was so much fun. Oh my God, I loved it.
Wouldn't you want to learn how to create frequency imprinting at home with your kids, yourself? Do you know what your voice looks like? Do you know what your invocation does to the surrounding matter when you focus it in coherence? It creates gravity waves. It creates pulses. It moves matter. You can combine photons and electrons to build new solid structures. This whole idea that matter can only be alchemized, it can't be created or destroyed, is nonsense to me. The universe is creating itself all the time. It's expanding all the time, infinitely. I would like to share what I've learned as a MacGyver of consciousness so that each one watching can invoke that for themselves. Module 5 is about cosmic archaeology. To see the organic intelligence in ancient temples and ancient buildings, you can walk around a city and find artifacts. You can move through nature and see the artifacts of temples that were built 1 million years ago. See, we used to have what I call frequential civilizations that could work with frequencies. And they would integrate realities. There are pyramids and temples and chambers and canyons that you can hike and see the remnants of this. It's our invitation to create our own frequential civilization, to establish our own reality maps. This is a scale model of a bamboo version of my Vossa dome that I'm experimenting with to build one here in Hawaii before we build the stone one. Akuda and I want to live inside one of our instruments. And even the scale model, this bamboo model with a crystal, is already generating imprinting frequencies. The skylight that I mentioned. This is already directing the universe to materialize this, to put the forces together, your universal body, to align the money, the land, the people, the build teams, the materials, prepare the space. All of it is happening now. Wouldn't you want to be on the front line to watch how this is happening? To land to this? Our intention this year is to build our first Vossahedron on lava. Not only do we want to have our off-grid home surrounded by a food forest where we're eating fruits and vegetables that are nurtured by this lava, drinking water that's been filtered through this lava, releasing our body from the life of food from the supermarkets as much as possible, but also having our own instrument that we can meditate and tone and sing and play music and dance and dream, spend the night. Those of you who are entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs, don't you think this site would be sold out years ahead? The only teleportation time control device of its kind in the new generation, because there are older ones. The Integratron in Joshua Tree is an example. And what if inside this instrument and outside, you're able to access dimensions and connect with the organics, the minerals, the crystal kingdoms, the plasma realms without psychedelics? What if there was a generation of energetics for the next 1,000 years? They're going to study these things in the future. These domes are designed to last over 1,000 years and beyond. It's time to seed that legacy for our ancestors 1,000 generations from now. To have access to the cosmic womb, to create journeys for your soul while you're standing here on earth right now is what's available to us. To access the membranes, the organic nurturing womb. So this is the invitation. This is the opportunity that Mira and Sharon have given me the privilege to share with you. This course launches in March. And I designed this as an example of what we could be doing this very year to create a new reality. How did that feel, ladies?
So expensive. I mean, I know what you're talking about because I experienced, I don't know everything you've been talking about, but I know, the beginnings, and I know that the technology that you're talking about is available for us. And I know what a creative creator you are, that you can really take us through expanding ourselves beyond our normal daily lives. So I would say to those of you, there's a lot, like you said, going 10 minutes at a time is a good idea, to wrap our heads around it.
I'll share with you one of the things that happens when you are in clarity, in coherence. I'm no longer backing myself up and propping myself up with any substances. And I don't have a judgment because I was in that world. What I'm inviting is what happens after. One of the things that happens is it's like a chess player that's able to see a few moves ahead. A grandmaster is able to go 5, 6 moves ahead. That's billions of combinations of all these different pieces. So what if we could speak in multi-dimensions? When I'm sharing something, I could share the physical, the mental, the emotional, the temporal, the spatial version of it. The genetic, the etheric, the transformation that would occur when you invoke something, you already know what it can do ahead of time. Meaning if I say, well, I'm going to create a device that charges plasma water that you're able to imprint. At 3 levels ahead, you can say, well, I'm going to have some water that's been structured, it has some energy. But at 6 moves ahead, you can see a civilization 1,000 years from now that lives from imprinted structured water and a liquid body that can travel through space and time. It's as clear and as coherent to me as the first step. I no longer separate in time the result from the source, from the seed. Could I build a house as a time machine? Not only could I, I've already am doing it. How did you guys like redefining all the spaces in your home?
I
The
love
kitchen, the
that.
bedroom, the bathroom.
That is such a great way of doing it, of thinking of it, of opening up to it. And I know that your Vocahedron is such a, I know you don't like the word healing, but a self-sufficient, self expanding, self nurturing space that I would love to build for myself. So you're seeing
you
it so
for-
many steps
for
ahead
sharing that.
helps me get there. You
And
know?
this very first time I've shared anything about this course. I haven't gone into any other interviews. I wanted you
We're
and Mira
honored.
to because of your generosity, open your platform, because of the way you've been able to evolve this platform. I
Thank
would
you.
love to take some of these little snippets from this presentation and just put them out there, you know?
Yes,
And one
I
of the
would
things
love
that
to
we know,
do
we
that.
can't do this ourselves. I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. I'm going to put together a team. And anybody here who's listening is called to be part of this. When
Yeah.
we release this video, I'm going to share the link to connect with me, right? Because
Yes,
I would love to have this conversation in a year where we have a prototype up and running and the
I would
results.
love that. Yes.
And for those that have something inside of them that say, well, time control doesn't exist, time travel has a lot of paradoxes, blah, blah, blah. See, I don't have that noise in my head. I don't have that block. I
Yeah.
I invite those that feel those resistances. What if? What if I was able to do one minute of what I just said? What if you could walk into a house and your body is like when you walk into a sacred space, like a church or a pyramid or a temple, times 10? What if that happened? What if you had unexplainable phenomena that you would dream of a future? You would be able to say, well, I'm having thoughts that I could work with water in a very different way, right? My kids keep talking about teleportation. I don't know where they're getting this. This is the kind of stuff that's going to happen.
And why not? I mean, why not open up to that?
Right.
Why not remove all the noise and the distractions and the unimportant? I want to say unimportant. Forgive me, people that think that Netflix is really important. I don't mean to judge at all. You know, it's all good, but why not open up to whatever is important to you? If this is important to you, then why not open to that?
Mhm. The word healing, let's just insert the word transformative,
Yes,
a
I love
transformation.
that better. Yeah.
To superposition, when I'm watching a movie or a show, because I like Survivor, I like Naked or Afraid, some of those shows on TV where people are put into extreme situations, and I love science fiction. But when I'm watching, at the exact same time, I'm rewriting the entire script of that movie.
Hmm.
I'm connecting to the script writers in Hollywood. Dune 2's coming out this year, and I love Dune. Frank Herbert. I read that when I was a teenager. But see, I no longer give weight or value to stories about Star Wars. I'm about Star Peace. So while I'm watching these spaceships and battles and killing and dismemberment and attacking planets and civilizations of corruption and greed and control, simultaneously I'm envisioning what would it be like to produce a Netflix series of ascension and peace and awakening, to have a science fiction series without drama or killing. And see, a lot of script writers think that's impossible. Oh, yeah, well, I studied drama. You got to have drama. You got to have conflict. No, you don't. See, that's where time travel and teleportation of your mind. Could you take yourself to a place that you could write a story from the very beginning? You already have what would happen if we were fully self-realized humans. What does it look like when you are a creator, creatress, awakening in your creation and you know you created it? Show me the science fiction story of that you are, instead of some apocalyptic future, instead of some drama that so-and-so character is dealing with the drug issues or murder of their family, and that's where the story begins. I woke up in a universe fully self-realized. What happens day 2? Could you write that? And if you can't write that, you can't bring yourself to vision it, then I would say self-realize, wake up and see what happens. Now, if we're talking marketing and competitive advantage and entrepreneurship, let's bring some of those dirty code words in here. It's a competitive advantage right now to be a self-realized, awakened human. You walk into a meeting and people are saying, we're going to come up with a new way of selling homes in real estate. We're going to come up with a new kind of medical industry. We're going to think about transportation and electric cars. You walk in and you're surrounded by dimensions of answers and ideas. I could walk into Tesla right now and redesign that whole program. This isn't from ego. This is from knowing. I've studied electric vehicles. I know how free energy works in some states. Could we have a vehicle that doesn't have any tires, that magnetic levitation? Could we not need to have so many cars? I would like to explore all that. And when I walk into a meeting, I've slept, I'm rested, I'm lucid, I'm nurtured. When I walk into meetings and talk to people in some of these Zoom calls, some of them are on drugs. I can tell who's on drugs. I can actually tell who is on Oxycontin or ketamine or microdosing of all these different things. And I have compassion for that. One of the artifacts that I've seen is most people in the tech industry right now are on drugs or drunk or haven't slept. How sad. We are relegating our technology to young people who are not present right now. The young people working on the new .com, the new metaverse, are not present. Their cells are suffering. They don't know how to envision a world that would transform you. A computer, could you walk into a room where Apple or Microsoft are designing a new kind of computer and saying, we're going to make the computer disappear? So now this is true disclosure, by the way. This is not ego. This is knowing. I am not afraid as a man standing in my reality to say, why the hell are we still using 100-year-old keyboards? Does anybody in the tech industry have the guts and gonads to be able to say that in a meeting? Why are we still using flat panel displays? Why are we still using silica in computers? Wasteful, toxic processes to make computers. And while they're arguing, well, it's a money maker, it's the way it's been done, I would like to form teams of people that wants to go to the future, quantum computing without technology. How's this sound, by the way? This knowing, this standing in divine creatorship. I hope it's powerful.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why I dedicate a module to discernment between AI and natural intelligence, I won't be fooled. If there's AI monitoring of everything we've said, good, let it listen.
Yeah, maybe we'll go in the right direction.
You know, I know that natural intelligence is compassionate. It's loving. If indeed we're going to have sentient technology, I'm not interested in a smart home. I don't want to walk into a house that has everything automated and there's a control panel and they give you the flat screen and you can, screw all that. Show me a designer that designed a house that takes 10 years away from my life for every year that I live in it. You know, if you're going to show me the presentation, you know how they have the sexy glossy brochures? Here's the model home and here's your kitchen counter. It uses granite, and show me the cymatic print of that house. What does it look like? What is the electromagnetic imprint of this on my body?
Nice one.
I demand to only work with conscious professionals. I'm not interested in working with an attorney, an accountant that has not gone through some awakening. If we can't talk about this, then we cannot help each other. We're not speaking the same language. I would like to work with an attorney that will protect consciousness and conscious projects. I would like to work with accountants that can help move money into conscious projects. I want people to hack what they know. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists, teachers, I'm not interested in having it. I don't have children, but if I did, I would not let any teacher near my children that has not gone through an awakening. How's it sound to lay down the law like this?
I love that.
Egotistical, arrogant?
No.
And if we don't know how to design homes as time machines, then let us chart the way. Neighborhoods, cities of consciousness. I'm going to leave off with a couple of ideas here because we're getting near our time. And I
Yeah.
know we went over a little bit. When Akura and I have been traveling to all these countries, one of the things we observe is there are millions of young people seeking a new reality everywhere we go. Every country we have been to, there are groups of young people into consciousness, into sacred geometry, into seeking, into off-grid living, who are birthing children while they're living as a nomad gypsy. There are kids being born in tribes, off-grid. We know of several families that haven't registered their children. They're off-grid. They're not, no birth certificate. Good, I say. Let's have millions and millions of children off the system, off the books. So I'm going to ask those who are entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs here, where are these young people going to live? What are we doing about it? What cars are they going to drive? What kind of food are they going to eat? Are you part of that solution? This isn't a lost generation at all. They're a found generation. They know what they want. They're not confused. They're not going to play with corporate America. That's the first thing to consider. Tune in, meditate one day and just say thank you to these young people that are charting a new way. The second thing we've seen is, what does food abundance look like? And I'm not saying any country has this figured out. But right now, my home country of America is in trouble. And I don't say this to raise a flag of danger. I'm saying this as an invitation. Anytime we have an opportunity to describe what should it look like, every town that I've lived in recently, like Silver City, New Mexico, relies heavily on trucking for food to fill up the Walmarts and the Albertsons and the grocery stores. If trucking stops one day, everybody starves. When I went to places in Thailand and in Vietnam and Malaysia, there's food growing everywhere. Every little nook and cranny, little edge, there's a garden growing something. And I'm going to demystify abundance for people who have not experienced this. To be able to walk and eat for $3 a meal that's delicious and nutritious is abundance. We didn't win any wars in Asia, not at all. We lost. The people who are in Vietnam, in Laos, in Cambodia, that we bombed, are eating better than anybody in the US right now. Think that for a moment. We better learn and ask to learn how to do this. Right now in the Big Island of Hawaii, we have water catchment. We have all the water we could drink and consume and shower in. That's millions of dollars worth of abundance to me. Water abundance, food abundance, energy abundance. To harvest your own electricity is radical. To grow your own food is radical. To harvest your own water, it's the most radical thing you could do. And let's step it up. To build your own house is the most radical. And the last thing I'm going to do is share with you 12, just my notes here, the 12 aspects of temporal sovereignty. You know, we talk about being a sovereign human. Harvest your own living water. That's a step into temporal sovereignty. Grow your own food. Not just any food, not just any water. Conscious water, conscious food. Heal your own body and transform your own body. Harvest your own energy, your own electricity and light and sound. Build your own home to your specifications. You don't have to do it physically, but have a home built for you the way you want it. That's the first 5 dimensions, and there are 12. Transform your own life by defining your own identity, your birthright to say who you are and what your path is. 7, space creation. Create your own space. Create your own dimension of space. 8, create your own time. Birth time. Time realms around you. Occupy yourself. Pay attention to your own space and your own time. The space you walk, the space you visit in your visions, the time you create with visualizing the future, the time you create with creating with your family and your friends, that creates time and space. Matter replication through thought is the 9th temporal sovereignty principle, to learn how to think of something and materialize it. And these aren't in order. 10th, to be a creator of synchronicity, to synchronize events in your life. I call it holocymatic orchestration. It's a fancy word. To holographically and cymatically orchestrate reality is temporal sovereignty. That's number 10. 11, fractalization and infinitization of everything. Everything you see in front of you, infinitize it. A flower, a child, a dream, an idea, a bottle of water. You, in your mind, in your body, see clearly the infinite version of it. You can see that everything dreams of being infinite. If you could see it, you are in temporal sovereignty. Number 12, the last one, has no name. It's an infinity symbol. You have to define what that is for you. What is your 12th principle of temporal sovereignty as an infinite creator, creatress? And all of these together form a 13th harmonic. If we could design our life around some of these things and start with the last one first, begin with temporal sovereignty, begin with your 13th harmonic, and everything else will follow. This is what I wanted to share, a script I've come up with. Akuda and I have designed these.
Thank you. This was brilliant.
Did we break anything?
It was really wonderful. I love the steps, the script, and more so how you spoke of them not being linear, but simultaneous, right? One doesn't need to take priority over the other. Yeah. I thought
Yes.
that you would put number 12 as number 13, right? The infinite being the 13th harmonic. Yeah.
I like that vision.
Yeah.
Like I said, none of these, I
Yeah.
don't believe in systems and rules and programs.
Yeah.
It's just a way to put it together and a way to share it.
Thank you.
But yes, I agree. We don't know what the map looks like.
We
I
get,
have simple questions for people. What are you going to do when we have free energy?
yeah. Yeah.
How many of you guys heard, oh, I'm waiting for the med beds? Okay, wait till they release the medical beds. I don't want that crap.
I don't even know what they are, but I'm very excited.
Medical technology that if you lay down in it, it'll heal you and you can walk away from cancer. And I'm not saying this to make fun of anybody who's in this situation. I'm saying this to release yourself from the need of any external solutions that are not you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
I'll
that.
let you know from firsthand experience and knowledge of what goes on behind those programs that have those technologies. They're not good for your body at all. Yeah, but the Pleiadians come up and the Syrians gave us the design plans of the med beds, and there you. Okay, but did you did it? Did you design it for you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
such
you.
a good point.
I'm gonna wait till the financial reset happens. The financial reset happened in my life years ago. My money is what I just shared. That's my bank vaults.
Yeah.
Right.
I look forward to our next conversation already. I'm excited people to join you everywhere they feel
Oh,
called to
Mira,
plug in, whether it's this course, whether it's anything else you teach. Thank you again. Your visions are inspiration. Thank you.
thank you. I'm gonna
Absolutely.
share the link
Yeah.
when this beautiful summit comes out for people who
Yes,
want to set up a connection call with me and just talk about this course.
Mhm.
right. We'll
Because
share it. We'll share
this
it on.
course is funding the building of that dome on top of the lava here in Hawaii. It's combined together, a fundraising with the course itself.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Beautiful.
And I share these in detail so others can get excited. Hey, I got something to share. I got something to teach. I want to formalize it into just like you've done with your beautiful summit. You know, what are you in your third generation now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that it's evolved so much. And
it
the
has.
people that you've had on your summits have evolved so quickly within 1 to 2 years,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
Nanda, thank you so much. I love
Namaste
you.
to
I
you and
appreciate you.
everyone listening.
You really helped me grow in so many ways.
Oh,
Thank
dear
you.
Sharon. Can't wait till you come to our next retreat.
Me too.
Mira, we need to see you over here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Much love
Namaste.
to you.
What
Thank
do you
you.
want to create?
Yes. Yes.